reason I can go and read a book while they play, that they're able to play independently, is because I just said no to them every single time they asked me to play with them for years. And eventually they stopped asking and just went off.
Kids love to play, whether that's with siblings, friends, or even parents, but this mom's response to playing with your kids stirred up quite the debate. Here to settle it is licensed professional counselor and registered play therapist Rachel James. Good morning.
Good morning.
So you have 2 little kiddos at home, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So it's 2 boys, 2 girls?
2 little girls.
Oh my goodness. And do you play with them every day?
I do.
See, there you go.
Play.
You heard it from the therapist. Okay, so should parents play with their children, and what's the benefit, or is there any harm in it?
So yes, I do think that parents should be playing with their kids within a certain reason. Like there's obviously going to be boundaries that happen that need to be set. But yeah, the benefit is going to be bonding. It's going to be emotional regulation, recognizing social boundaries and social cues and things like that. All of that happens when we play with our kids.
Yes, yes. Okay, so I just said in the beginning of the show that I'm actually an only child. So is there any obligation to play with your child, especially if they don't really have that playmate in a sibling?
So I think naturally parents are going to feel an obligation to play with an only child. But like with everything, there needs to be a balance that happens within that play. But yeah, I mean, there is nobody else for your child to play with on a regular basis. So I do think that there's going to be that natural step up to play with them. But we could talk about how to set boundaries with that.
Exactly, because I feel like as an only child, you kind of have this fixed imagination where you can kind of just figure things out on your own. But we are going to get into some of the boundaries, maybe that helps or harms. And so one of the points that this TikTok mom was making was that she doesn't play with toys with her kids, but she does other things with them, like quality time or quality attention. So what maybe does that look like?
Absolutely. So playing with kids doesn't have to be full on imagination play, especially if they're kind of younger. Their play could be cooking in the kitchen or taking out the trash, getting the mail, things like that. Really, it's that quality time that you're spending with them that they're really craving and wanting. So as they get older and that imagination kind of starts to come in, we might see more of that imaginative play with them. But for the most part, we can just kind of do life with them.
Yes, exactly. And I think what's so crazy is what you just pointed out is that kids kind of just want to help, right? Like you said, cooking or going to get the mail. They don't know that it's chores, and you don't have to tell them. So I'm sure a lot of parents may not want to play with their kids all day because sometimes playing with your kids can be exhausting. So how do we navigate those boundaries?
So one of the things that I do with my kids is I'll say things like, Mommy's going to rest her body right now, as a way of not being in such an active play mode. There is also kind of a more passive play mode that you can take where you might be like the patient while they're playing doctor and they're telling you what's going on and things like that. Whereas a more active role is going to be like you're the doctor or the surgeon and you're kind of controlling the play.
So letting them maybe kind of stand in the space, like you just said, of controlling what's happening, and you're like, okay, yeah, give me the shot, or any of the things like that.
Exactly.
Got it. Now, can you talk about how play can be useful to help kids in maybe certain areas of their life? I know there's different stages of play when it comes to each age. So how can it help in different areas of whatever they're going through at that time period?
Sure. So the younger they are, they're going to need a little bit more help with that play. And then the older they get, the less they're going to need input from you, or they're going to be able to do more on their own.
So what do you think about this TikTok mom, this thing that she's going through? Do you think this is the right approach? Do you think not playing with them at all, unless it has to do with quality time, is the way to go? Or should we kind of step in a bit more?
Like with most things in life, there needs to be a balance. I don't think that pushing your kids away to the point of maybe feeling rejected is going to be beneficial for them, but I don't think entertaining them every single second of the day is going to be beneficial for them either.
Yeah.
If your child is doing independent play on their own, just let them be.
Exactly. You might as well, right? I mean, because the simple fact that independence, you kind of have to teach your kids independence a little bit, because you don't want them to be at your ankles every second of the day. So teaching that independent play is so important. I really appreciate you giving us insight, because we were me and Jane were kind of debating this. Obviously, like we said, we're from 2 different perspectives. So if people want to learn more from you or from the center, where can they find you?
So they can find us online at thecentercounseling.org. We have my bio and a bunch of other counselors' bios. We have this really cool feature where you can search by age and topic and location to find the counselor that's the best fit for you.
There you go. Personalized for every single person. I love it. Thank you so much for being here this morning.
Of course.
Jay?